What's up guys, this is Shannon. Today we're going to check out Icon City in PJ. Let's go! What's up guys, today we are in PJ to check out this rather old project already. I still remember when this was launched, I was still studying. And it took the world by storm for several reasons. One, due to its density. This was considered very high density, but now it's like a child's play. Crazy, right, to think about it. The second thing is the location, which is smack right in between the crossroad of LDP and Federal Highway, next to the little Penang bridge that we have here in PJ as well. So in terms of location, it was strategic. In terms of product fit, then it was something else, because the entire PJ has always been a concentration of landed products only. So this gives a very fresh product to the market, where you have a mixed development. So you have 7 stories of commercial lots that consist of retail, and it's a double frontage kind of thing because they have a podium in the center. Why I know so much, because a lot of my uncles were considering to buy this back then. But this will demonstrate several theories, but let's go check it out first. So that will be the LDP highway, right? And going through that way, then that will be the Federal Highway already going downward. So it will be very convenient if you use those 2 main roads, one side to PJ, one side also to PJ lah, but that connects you to KL. But right opposite then, that will be Bandar Sunway already, where you will have all the malls that you need, right? So Sunway Pyramid and all the universities that you need as well. So here there will be a concentration of university. So you have Taylor, Sunway, but it's a secondary choice for students, especially for those who have cars, so they don't want to stay right next to the uni, but they can stay a distance away. So this was supposed to captivate those students. Because if you drive a little bit further, Petaling Jaya, right, it's also around the corner, and there are several universities there as well. But here you can really feel the intensity of LDP highway. Oh, it's very busy. But now we are right in front of the retail. You have this UFO octagonal, I don't know how to pronounce it, but you have a very fancy UFO shape right in the center that is supposed to capture attention. Then these are all the retails, and the format of them being sold back then was 1 owner for 7 story. And you have a retail, then office, then retail again, then office. Even the rooftop is accessible for people. In terms of concept, it was groundbreaking back then, and they are positioned right in front of the roads for frontage purposes lah. But now, unfortunately, if you look at the business, right, they are very minimal commercial activities going on. You have like a bar and not even speed mark, right? Because in proximity you have a lot of residents, but technically they could have come here for spending, they could come here for commercial support. But yeah, sometimes, right, that's why real estate don't know one. So as we always mention, when we come into a mixed development, right, what's important will be the ownership and management of the retail unit, because that element really dictates the success, or rather the impression of success for the residents or the overall project. Like now, if it's empty, right, does that really necessarily mean that the residents are going to be terrible? Not necessarily. But impression of the public every time they drive past you, this one like ghost town and that, it's definitely going to be eerie. Imagine staying up there. Not necessarily, but it's that impression that kind of dictates the second-hand value of your particular property. So it's very important as well. And how ownership affect this? When retail lots are sold individually, one by one, to separate owners, right, then they will actually lose control when it comes to the commercial activities. For example, if they want to do events here, they will require A&P budget to do so. Who's doing it, right? Do they get in the management to do it? Then what about tenancy? Now, I'm desperate as an owner because it has been 2-3 years, the unit is empty, I really need a tenant, so I'll just settle with whatever I get. Or there will be a guideline that everybody try to follow. There will be constant activities in trying to get the best tenant, even if it's below the market rate for rent. We will get them in, at least it generates crowd. Those kind of things requires a lot of collaboration between owners. So if it's all managed by the developer, it will be way easier, as the decision making process is way simpler. But if you have a kelompok of different owners with different agendas, right? Yeah. So we are now behind the retail space, and you can see it's empty. But in terms of built materials, right, the feeling of finishes is there. Despite being constructed for very long already, you have the tactile, you have the tiles, you have the glossy column finishes, plaster and paint for columns. Yeah, you even have the mechanical jet system to actually push air more. And then you will have CCTVs, you will have benches around. So coming up from the retail area downstairs upwards, right, there will be a central podium that connects all elements together. So they are SOVOs, which is like smaller units one, then they are also corporate offices. There's MSC status. So for those who don't understand, right, a lot of MNC companies are actually required to operate in MSC status, building for tax purposes and stability of the network purposes, where it comes with the electric backups and things like that. So that's why there's a certain demand for MSC status buildings. Now the trend is going for green. So if you want more incentive in terms of tax, or it's in line with the company's branding, the business needs to be operated in a green building. Anyway, coming back to this building, the architecture, again, you think back 15 years ago, right? It looks amazing. You have this futuristic structure, then connects to timber deck surrounded by water features. Then here you have the MSC corporate office. That block then will be the SOVOs. Then on top there will be the residence already, and this will be the central podium again, providing that second layer of frontage here. So when everybody is doing the exchange here, transition between building types, right, this will be where people can actually shop. That's why they kind of sold the concept of the retail to be dual frontage. So in terms of hardscape, landscape, softscapes, right, very decent. I would say it's very, very nice. And you look into the effort of putting sculptures to create that place, to just add excitement and focal point into the gathering space. So technically this is supposed to be the fountain, but looking at the occupancy, the first thing to be shut off will be this. Seriously, what a waste. But in terms of value, then maybe it's a separate discussion. If you require a space for operations in office, you don't really need to attend to anybody, you don't need customers to walk in, right? Just need a space to operate. This might be a steal depending on the rental, but I doubt the rental will be high. The same goes to the residents as well. So let's go check that out. But before that, when this was completed, a lot of people actually have bad impression about the entire building color choice. What do you think? Personally, like after 10-15 years already, it has aged really, really well. Where we stand weather for so long, you don't see any paint peelings or whatsoever, like the usual bright colors that we are familiar with, right? Dark colors, suddenly it feels gloomy at first, but this is an appetite thing for Malaysians. Anyway, check out the furniture that has a lot of art language into it, a lot of water features surrounding the entire deck. Okay, so this will be Icon Residence 1, which is the residence tower. There will be the second residence tower. Another very amazing thing that this particular developer can do, right? Until now, I have still no clue on how they got it approved all the time, will be direct access to main highways. So this one, you have a direct branch in from Federal Highway coming directly into this entrance and directly into the car park itself. So a lot of people will think it's just a bridge lah, come on. But in terms of the effort in getting the approval to do so, not easy. And you have seen this with a few more of their projects, all have pretty similar qualities. I seriously don't know how they do it. In terms of difficulty, sometimes a lot of people think it's just money. No. So for the podium, just now entering into the residence, there will be 2 blocks. The entire entrance experience was really nice, and security is very strict. So they have been questioning here and there, what are you doing, why are you here, we're going to check out a unit, okay, which unit, before another checkpoint into the lift lobby. So in terms of security, I think it's nice. And coming out into the lift lobby, the width is 2.5 meters, the height is 2.9. So by walking around the floor plate, there are like 7 or 8 units based on manual calculation because there's no map around. Serviced by 3 lifts, very quiet. And the corridor space, this one is the luxurious one where it's on a corner unit and you have this private corridor going on. And next to the main lobby, then you will have the refuse area. And let's check it out. Wow! Wow! Just when we thought it's a new thing that is introduced in their latest phase project, they have been using this 10-12 years ago already, like that. And you include the design time somewhere, it's going to be another 3 more years, like 15 years ago. They have been doing this already. Nice. And here also you can catch a glimpse of all the rooftop facilities on every block. This is something else though. So besides this Honor luxurious unit, there are 6 more units on this corridor, and the corridor width will be 1.4 meters. And you have window panels at the end. And I still remember clearly last time there was an incident where the corridor was flooded because of a thunderstorm. So I guess after that happened, they actually covered all the openings with NATO windows to prevent water in. Not bad. Then for the corridor space, then you have tiles. That includes the skirtings as well. And this will be the unit that we're going to check out today. Nice. From the front, you have a foyer here and a little nook. I think this you can put your cabinet to place your shoes. And let's go into the unit. So the clearance for the door is 893 mm, and the setback for this unit next to the lift lobby will be privacy. When every time you come out, right, everyone gets to glimpse what's behind, what's the condition of the house. Also, when we were hanging out in the unit, we get to hear the lift sound and whoever that's around the lift lobby. Yeah, something to take note when you pick units in the future. So coming right in, you will have another cabinet space here for storage, and this will be the living, dining and kitchen space already. So this is the unit that we're going to check out today. Type C1907 square feet, 3 bedroom. And when we come in, right, straight away you have the kitchen tucked in, connected to the yard. You will have 2 bedrooms attached to the living and dining space. Then on the other side you will have the shared bathroom along with another bedroom here. So the frontage is shared by 3 space. So you have this bedroom sharing the facade. That's pretty nice. And I really like this living room space here where the window is at the corner bit, similar to the bedroom as well. The surface area for windows are amazing here. So the length of the kitchen space here is 3.3 meters. Where it also includes the space for the fridge lah. And this cabinet, I think it's provided by the developer, but it's already 15 years ago already. And looking at the quality, I don't know whether is it provided. I think it is. So here you have your cabinet, your basin, right? Then you have your 4-burner hood and hob here. Top and bottom cabinets with a window. The wall-to-wall width here is 1.7 meters, and you are connected to the yard space here. And to introduce more daylight into the space, you even have a window on top of the door. You also have a side panel here. And this is nice. Wow. This is going to be an ideal space if you are a fan of wet cooking. Wow, this yard space, no joke, is very big. After you put in a washer dryer here, you see there's so much space going on. You can definitely accommodate another counter here for cooking, so you still have space for your... And this is a design when the developer actually chooses to have a void in between units, right? And because of such treatments, it gives opportunity for the unit to have windows at the side profiles. So that gives more opportunity in terms of spatial design. Because another way of designing would be to just make this into another unit, so they get to sell more units. Yeah, you get it? So looking at the solid surface, right, this seems to be in the same time provided by the developer. You have all cabinet space all given. This would be a nice space for you to have a breakfast, as this will be the breakfast counter. Then that would be the dining space and living space. Anyway, the wall-to-wall width here is 3.3 meters and the ceiling height is 3.1. Now what you're hearing, it's renovation work ongoing around the building. It's amazing to still see like people are still going through renovation works after so long. It means new people are coming into the space, refurnishing and whatsoever. Interesting. And if you look into the property portal, the 3-bedroom unit like this empty is going for around 800,000. Fully furnished one or higher floors one will cost around 900 to $1 million. And the rent for this fully furnished unit per month is going for 3,000. But in the portal there's also like 2,800. And I really enjoy the width here. It's not too big, not too small. And after you put in the dining, there's still a lot of circulation space. connected to the living space here, and the hero space would be this unit lah. So what architect did is they applied curtain wall system to all residence unit, and this will be the window treatment, right? Rather solid. So this is going to be for child safety, and this is PJ all together, that landed very conventional PJ area. So with this window treatment, the entire space that's supposedly not to be too big, right? It's like 900 over square feet, suddenly feels way bigger because you have the floor to ceiling height windows, even angled at the corner to maximize the entire experience. So from the entrance, on one side here, you will have a shared bathroom, and they are providing regal for basin and WC. You will have a shower screen along with the shower, full height wall tiles, and this will be the mechanical ventilation because there's no access to window for this toilet. Vanity top also provided back then, very nice. On the other side then, this will be the first bedroom. So the width of the space is 2.6. You can have a cabinet here for your clothes, and this makes a very nice workspace. But you can perfectly put in a queen size bed, no problem at all. And the unit actually comes with laminated timber floor along with timber skirtings, and this will be the view that you get from the... This is so nice. This totally unblocked view at all because you can't even find a single inch that's empty already. Yeah, moving on to the second unit. This will be the second unit bedroom. So the size of this bedroom is 2.6 by 3.1 meters. And here you can put in a queen size bed. You have your wardrobe here, right? And it's built in. So I think it comes with the unit. And it's very rare to have a window that is tucked internally without touching the facade line but still looks so bright. That's totally possible because of this window panel here. And just now when we mentioned, they actually open up a void between the layout, so there will be opportunities to have windows like this for internal bedrooms. If not, when you face internal voids, then it's not as great in terms of quality of light. Anyway, you still have a lot of circulation space to go around, but just that the not so good point will be the privacy. Like every time there will be guests at home, at the dining table, they can actually see what's going on in the room. Yeah, but you save corridor space lah. Last but not least, then this will be the principal bedroom. Wow, look at the window. So the wall-to-wall space here is 3.1 meters, and that's pretty comfortable for a principal bedroom. I think you put in a king-size bed here, you still have so much space here to go around. But I must say, we seriously don't see these window treatments very often. Like these are build-ups that are not calculated into the square feet when you buy. This is like extra, and look at the view. Okay, so now we experiment by having the windows open and you look into Federal Highway. You can even do newscasts like what's the condition of the traffic right now. So that will be Federal Highway, and this will be the view that you get. So let's close it. Quiet. And then something to highlight here, this will be a demonstration of a load-bearing wall but having an opening within, because if you look into the door frame here, it's way thicker than usual, right? So this is actually when you have certain thickness to the wall that is bigger than usual, and I made an opening out of it lah. Okay, that's why this looks a bit weird for those who don't understand. It's absolutely fine. And this will be the principal bathroom. The treatments then will be standard. You have regal, basin and WC. Then you have the vanity top, full height wall tiles. You have the mosaic design for the shower area, shower screen provided, and you have a very big window panel for ventilation, frosted for privacy reasons. Nice. Okay, coming up, we are now in the facilities deck, and they are yoga room, aerobic room, function room. They're absolutely empty, but the condition of it looks decent, just like this gym. So this is the gym. You have the cardio machines here facing towards the factory area. At the end there, you will have the golf course view. So that's nice, and we get to also see the rooftop deck. And every tower has rooftop deck. If you go and check it out, what's on top top of this one. Then on this side you also have the other cardio machines facing another block. At the corner then you will have the machines and the free weights zone. I like that they clad the columns with mirrors, so it actually just widens up the space instead of being a hindrance to the space, and it's open all the way at the facade, so it's bright. On the other side of the floor plate then we have a reading room, and we can see it's pretty well dressed up. Just that back then maybe they don't know what to do with the structural system, because in conventional building layout, part of the facade also takes up the structural load for the building. But when you have a curtain wall system, you need to have 100% of your facade to be open, right? Therefore, they need to resolve in a different way for the building to take load. That's why you will have structural columns like this within the unit. And in the gym just now it was cladded nicely, but here suddenly you have a space like this. It really affects the experience, but in exchange for an opening like this for the space. So which one would you prefer? Right opposite them will be the games room, and it's pretty much the same, where you have columns at the front in order to have this endless seamless window panels at the facade. But then in the internal space then you have columns like this. Yeah, anyway, you have the foosball table, some space to hang out with your friends. And because of the entire massing layout, there's not one area that you have a flat piece of land. That's why they need to spread the facilities across 2 levels. We are now in the lower level, and this is where you have a children playground, a very extensive one, really nice, and it kind of integrates with the column a little bit. But I wish they could have treated the corners a little bit, just in case when kids just hit them lah. But ultimately it looks really nice. In terms of flooring, they use the rubber tile and there are fixtures around. But then this will like let parents be paranoid a little bit lah. You will have glass railing all around here, but it's actually almost at my height, almost at 1.6 meters. So it's very high. Pretty much, unless the kid you can actually hang over, then it would be scary, but I guess it would be fine for toddlers. This is also when the double height ceiling actually gives scale to the space. Very nice. You have my kids will love it. Then right after that we will have this experiential space where it's a timber deck and it's supposedly floating on water, so it's actually surrounded by water around. Looks very cool, and it overlooks to the factory area, also to the golf course. And here you will have some water overflowing sound to kind of mask the traffic noise that actually comes from both of the highways. So here it actually reduces the impact of it, so you can really go into your zone, and it feels really breezy because it's actually open, cross ventilated. Nice. Coming out from that, then you will have an open space around. Then I like that there are motifs of the entire icon that they have, and this will be the swimming pool. It's not an extensive one, but I think it's a good enough lap pool that goes around. You have the infinity edge that flows into PJ sky view. At the corner here then you will have the hidden spot where it's a jacuzzi spot. Yeah, like here, right, I'm very curious on the thought process of having a different roof profile. I like it that it does not look as intense, and they actually double up the spaces for greeneries, but the access to them is not as convenient. But because of that as well, then the users of those particular spaces will have privacy. You don't have so many people access to one spot at one time. But anyhow, due to the age of the building, you can really see the aging materials that's going on already. Yeah, but you can see, wow, wind is very strong here. And now we are at the rooftop, and coming up, it's like a private garden, pretty nice, and they kind of designed the hardscape in an angular manner, so it makes you move in a certain way, right? And the hedges are very matured after so long, right? The trees are growing really well, and it's a very innovative move back then. By the way, this is the barbecue pit. As I was saying, right, it was a very innovative move back then. You think about it, 15 years ago, to have roof designs like this, facade treatments like this, and a mixed development format like this. Now I think about it, right, I think the design for this building was way ahead of time, because like the ramp to all specific spaces also, the time I see, there were ramps already. Now we kinda look for inclusivity elements within design, but it was done 15 years ago already. Crazy. You know? Maybe just wrong timing lah. And I guess one of the best thing of living here is you get to access the existing neighborhood, the old kampong and settlements of Sungai Way. You get to go to the market right there. Then you get to access everything else within PJ itself. Convenient, you get to just get straight access into Federal Highway from here. Nice. So on the other side then we get to see this will be Sunway Mentari already, and that will be Sunway Pyramid, which is like a turn away. Then Subang Jaya Township. Then you go further down will be Shah Alam. You go further down here will be Puchong. This goes to KL. Here goes to Kelana Jaya, Glen Marie side, Arat Damansara side, and that will be the brand new Serene that we have visited already. So far difference, right, in terms of function, in terms of timeline, and you get to see the future faces here, and I think this was meant for a future phase as well. And we also get to see in different blocks we have different treatments to the roof. We have roof garden, and I'm still trying to figure out the staggering design for the roof line. It definitely costs more to do so, but I'm just not too sure like why you don't just flatline it to have more space, but maybe to privacy. But now a small little pavilion like this feels really nice. Yeah, and I guess that's all for the project. It's now time for Sean's Take 3 on 3. So first things first, what I really like will be the location of this project. So it's smack in the center of all actions, but to be more accurate, it's actually in between the junction of LDP and Federal Highway, and this gives you absolute ease in accessing PJ, KL, Puchong, Subang Jaya, Shah Alam, anywhere that connects to these main highways. So it's really convenient in that sense. Not only that, I'm still very amazed with how this developer get the approval to get highways built from the highway directly access into the project. And I think that was supposedly to be a game changer for the residents. Imagine if I were to stay here, traffic jam, right? Usually when I go up the Penang Bridge, then access back in, it's a pain, but now with that access, gaudim. The second thing I like will be the design features that was introduced 15 years ago, which are still relevant today. Like you look into the integration of components, right? So first of all, when you come in, you will have the retail mix in front, and in between retail mix and the building, there will be another internal corridor. So it will be like a shopping retail mall. From that access going outward into the podium, and that podium will be an exchange and transition space from SOVO, from the office tower to the residents within that floor plate. So that is somewhat like another frontage for the retail side, and all these common areas are very well decorated and themed. If you look into the hardscapes, water features, landscape features, you even have sculptures all around. Then when we look into the facility stack, they're spread across 2 stories, very well done. I think I understand already the intent of staggering the roofline so it won't feel as flat, because now if you look into all of buildings, like just to cut costs, you just flatline it, but here you have garden space on all rooftops of all buildings, and by staggering it, you kind of restrict access to all of them. Suddenly the very small space there becomes really intimate. Imagine that I will just hang out with my wife here during the evening, enjoying the PJ view along with the breeze. Yeah, and the most amazing thing is like when we think about design features that are still not applied in recently completed buildings, like the fact of using the entire facade line and to carry it with curtain wall, giving it a full opening of floor to ceiling. That kind of experience really nice, and you have the corner beats, right? Not only wall to wall, it even eats up into the corner beat. Suddenly the bedroom feels really nice, although it's still 3.1, but it feels very nice. And the entire mechanism of locking, so it feels very solid. And I think back then this was sold at the rate where this project is supposed to be a luxurious segment product. That also explains the inclusivity elements within the transition of spaces. You will have ramps, that are done really well. That's why you see the cleaner move the tongs and the trolleys very comfortably across spaces. And the last thing I like would be the maintenance of the residence block, at least the areas that we have access to lah. So in the office we don't know, in the SOVO we don't know, but throughout the transition spaces, the retail spaces, the common areas around the whole building, they look decent. That's why we thought that, oh, if you look from the road, right, the whole commercial block is actually empty, it's going to be run down, it's going to be very terrible inside, right? Surprisingly, it's not. And this proves that the retail performance has minimal correlations to the building. And now if you look into the sub-sale, it's going for around 800,000 to $1 million. I'm not too sure on the recent transaction and rental, but for the unit that we visit, it's going for 2,800 to 3,000 in rental, and with a fresh furnish by a makeover guys, right? The unit practically feels new. And you think about value and privacy that you get, like this one you get 3,000, but a newly completed 3-bedroom apartment you need to rent for 4,200 to 4,500, 1,000 difference, which there is just a stone throw away, right? Yeah. However, for the three things I don't like, then will be the micro site elements. First of all, like you get the social housing, the low-cost housing right in front of the entrance, not very nice, and you are located at a junction, at the turning point of LDP, so the access seems kinda sudden. But I think the alleyway width that is allocated is sufficient, very sufficient, but I don't know why people still feel like inconvenient. But the junction to turn into Icon City, then I will argue that it's not as clear-cut, because you take a right lane in and the left lane will be turning outwards, which is in contrast to the road system outside. That was pretty confusing. Then you will have the Indian temple there. During festival, it's going to cause a congestion at the frontage area, and then you get noise and you will feel the intensity from the roads, because those are main roads to get around the city. The second thing I don't like then will be the management of the malls. Unfortunately, those are individually owned, and this is when we discuss about the format of ownership for retail components for a mixed development. It's very important now, but back then 15 years ago, I don't think it was that clear cut yet. So this also becomes the main component of success for malls as well. You can see some malls are 100% owned by a group, and they manage the tenants, they manage the marketing, branding, whatsoever. Decision-making processes are just way more convenient. But when it comes to certain mall where they only own bottom portion of it, on top is all stratified and it's all separately owned, then you will have a lot of leceh kind of tenancy agreement. Then you have like things that are not maintained well, not all owners follows the house rule and things like that. It gets really messy, and that creates this stigma of this project entirely is a failure. When I look at it, first impression definitely, because it's all empty right at the frontage there. But it seriously took the team by surprise. Not only me, the entire team feels the same. When we come in, then suddenly, hey, the residence feels okay right from the lobby, from the security checkpoint to the lift to the unit to the common area. It's a whole different experience altogether. And personally, I'm very surprised by it. From outside, we will never imagine how beautiful the central podium can be. And the last point I don't like, I think, will be the timing of this project. I think this format of design was launched a little bit ahead of time. Like if today this project was launched, right, I think everybody gets it. Everybody will understand what is this, what is that, and the angular format of things, the mixed development format of things. But back then, there was just a lot of misleading impression. But that does not result in the sales performance. I think the sales went really well. Just that not many people understand the intent of the consultant team and the developer. So from the external side of the world, we will not see rooftop facilities that are so amazing. And slowly, all this impression forms a stigma towards this project. And that stigma and impression does affect second-hand value of things. As well for the initial investors, right? I guess when they don't make money, no one will be happy because they didn't make money, right? And that's my take on it. I think the sales for this particular project from the developer point of view were okay, but it was just that initial investors were not very happy due to the current situation right now. And it really applies to the retail lot owners because they paid full money for everything. And you think about having a corporate office, SOVO, residence, retail all together in this intersection of main highways that is highly populated, right? Technically, it should work. Why it didn't? I don't know. Like, I'm still figuring out. And I think because of that, there's an empty lot next to the project. If that did really well, right, they wouldn't hesitate to launch the land next door, because they already put up a lot of effort for the project. If you think about it, right, they built a junction from the highway just for this particular residence, like, and this project, like, the amount of effort, you can perfectly just wait for another traffic light to turn in. Why must you have a whole different turn dedicated to this project? They would have thought that this would be bigger, this would have been better, but because the fact is, if you look into this and you think like this was completed 3 years ago, it makes sense. But the fact is, this was designed 15 years ago. Yeah, interesting, right? And I guess that's all for now. I really enjoy documenting projects like this, to really look into it and study, knowing that once upon a time this was considered high dense. Now if you look into brand new projects, right, this is considered normal. And you also get to find value for your money in terms of rental and space within PJ itself, because you think about it, a 3-bedroom unit in such a location for 2008, quite a bargain, and that's a fully furnished one. If you don't want to take that, you also can go for cheaper ones, but in exchange for such an ideal location of PJ, no joke. And I guess that's all for now. If you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao.